Hello and welcome back to the No Excuses podcast. My name is Anne and I live in Worcestershire in England with my husband Tom, and today is Thursday the 14th of March, which means I haven't spoken to you for almost 3 weeks, and I'm sorry about that. Today is episode 76 and I don't know what to call it. It might be a grey episode, because the sky's grey and two of the things I'm going to show you are grey, or it could be a lot of nattering about things, bits and pieces. I think we'll call it bits and pieces. Before we start, hello and welcome back, and hello to some yet more new viewers, steadily climbing, and I'm very, very pleased to see that. If you enjoy what I do, I never say like and subscribe because I just never do. But yes, thank you very much. I made a bag for Janine, who won the 700 subs giveaway, and that's arrived with her. And I made 2 bags at once, and I'll show you the one later because I'm wondering whether anybody would be interested in it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Just a reminder about the make-alongs. The jump-along ends in about 2 weeks' time at the end of March, and then I will announce the next make-along. I've decided what it's going to be. I decided a while ago. I just need to sharpen up what I think the rules, guidelines are. And then you've got Craft More in 24, which I'm certainly surrounding myself with opportunities to do different things, but I've yet to dive in and do anything really different apart from sewing, and I'll show you my sewing in a little while. If you follow me on Instagram, and I know a lot of you do, then you know I've been up and down a bit with posting on there. I've been sewing my shirt and not doing a great deal of knitting, and of course I've got this ongoing pain issue, and I think, I'm hoping, touch wood, that I'm slightly better than I was, a lot better than I was. Anyway, so let's crack on. All the places you can find me, Instagram, Ravelry, email, are all listed down below. And if I talk about a pattern, or I talk about a supplier or vendor, an indie dye shop, whatever, then I will put a link down below so you can click on it directly, and it will take you to it will open up a web page for you and will take you directly to that shop or that item that I've bought, etc. Now, sorry, I'm burping. I've just eaten one of those Belvita thingy bobs in the foil. When the Belvita first came out, I tried them. I think I might have been at work, so I tried them as an alternative to breakfast, which is how they were marketed, and I really wasn't impressed. I thought they were quite dry and uninteresting. But when I was with Mom in the big Sainsbury's a few months ago, I saw they had introduced a new flavour, and that was an apricot one, so not very big, and it's got like an apricot jam in the middle, and that's quite nice, but it's a bit sweet. So I won't be buying them again because I bought mine for quite a reasonable price of £1.50 for 4 or 5, and now they're sort of like £2.50, £2.70, and like, you know, sometimes I think they pitch things too high. They'd sell more if they lowered the price a little bit. I mean, if it was £1 something, I think psychologically people think, oh, you know, that's £1, that's nearly £2. Oh, that's worth it. Anyway, I'm going off at a tangent already. Be aware, if you don't like tangents, you won't like this episode. And also, I feel the need to apologise for my eyebrows because I'm sat there without me putting a bit of powder on my face so I can talk to you, because I'm a bit blotchy otherwise. And then I put a little bit, I've got this wind up stick which has got a little point on it, and I do my eyebrows with it very, very lightly. But I couldn't see the stick today, and I'm thinking, I mean, my ducksies are next to me on the bed. and I'm like staring at it to see if the sticks come through the top, and I press it on it, no it's not, and then I try it the other way around and the stick appears. I've been screwing it the wrong way around. I've had it a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'd run out of the lead in it. So I wind it up a little bit and that looks okay. Just about to see like an eighth of an inch poking out or something. Attack my eyebrows and they're a bit dark. I always had dark, thick eyebrows when I was young, but I'm not trying to emulate the young uns who have like great big painted on eyebrows, and it looks fine on them, but I really don't think it suits older ladies, unless they're natural. Anyway, that was a little bit of a diversion about eyebrows, and I'm sorry if they're frightening you. I haven't been drinking, I promise. I've just had the Belvita, it's probably what it is. I've got some cold tea next to me. I need to sit back a little bit maybe when I'm showing you things, because otherwise you are a bit closer to me, which is probably not a good thing. Breathe on you and I'll cloud the lens up. Shut up and get on with it. Right, progress to finished items. First of all, I forgot him last time, and this is Bobby. Say hello, Bobby. Bobby is the smallest bear, the tea room bear, in the series of bears that Sue of Mary Jane's Tea Room Designs has got a pattern for, and it includes some, let's undress him slightly, some lovely dungarees, and they cross over at the back, and I found two little like craft buttons. Actually they say manta ray on them, so they would have been part of one of my manta ray tops. They would have been in a little bag, for as spares. I looked at manta ray the other day on Debenhams and they don't exist anymore. So yeah, so there's his, you might see that his trousers are slightly heathered, and they're Jameson and Smith colours. Don't ask me which ones. Probably on my Ravelry page if I've updated it. And then there's his jacket, and you can see it's a little bit big for him. I think if I made the jacket again, I might try going down the needle size. I mean, it's not ultra thingy on the arms, or maybe leave a couple of rows out of the arm length, but very easy to do. I don't think he stands up. Some of them are supposed to stand up, although you can put weights in the feet, I suppose. But yeah, I'd recommend the patterns, and I know that Helen of Mousy Makes Pod, she's done a beautiful bear with a beautiful dress with toadstools on, and I think that's so pretty. And I have the dress pattern, and I will make a girly one at the when I feel like fiddling about again. I'm not good with small items, which is silly really, because you, for a few hours work, you get a product, whereas something like this, and I need to apologise for this again in a minute as well, a jumper, you can sit there for hours doing the same thing over and over again, and I get bored easily, but I'd still rather knit a bigger item than the smaller one. The wool I knit his body in is Cascade 220, worsted weight or Aran weight, and I used some embroidery thread for his nose and some little black round beads, the word I want, for his eyes. And I pulled the back, he was looking like a bit like a rugby ball head, so I pulled that back in via the nose. And because you tie, you go, when you're trying to end the sewing or whatever, you push the ends into the body, pull it out again, put it tightish, cut it, and the end disappears back into the arm or leg or whatever you're making. This is mainly knit in the round. You start at the feet and you do each leg, join them together with the body, and then the arms and the head and the ears are all done separately. So yeah, lovely. And there is a very good Facebook page that shows you the most exquisite examples where people have added embroidery on like a little suitcase or hat, or just beyond my level of imagination and talent, but it's beautiful to see. But also, if you ever make any of her patterns, they are very, very good at support, because you get beginner knitters, and what might seem obvious to me, for example, the other day, a lady was trying to do slip one, knit one, past slip stitch over, but the way it was written, she didn't understand it. She'd not seen it written that way, because there's several variations of that, and she was ending up with the wrong number of stitches left. And so somebody broke it down for her, and she went, I understand now, thank you. So it's good to be able to, if you're buying a pattern, because sometimes these can be more complex than a big jumper, can't they? So say bye-bye, Bobby, and we'll see if we can make Bobby a girlfriend in the not too distant future. If I post like that, it might end up being my thumbnail, because I'm useless at trying to get thumbnails otherwise. Now that is my only finished item. Oh no, it isn't. Very carefully, trying not to dismantle what I've got set up here in my jelly bag. And I've bought another one of these, a green one, pale green one, to include, or blue, to include in a giveaway, rather than one of my wonky bags, or both maybe. Now I was making the Sketch It cowl, which is on Ravelry, I'll put a link down below. It's a free pattern, and I was doing a zigzag pattern, and I can't remember what the other pattern was, and soon after recording I decided I didn't like it for various reasons. The zigzag pattern, and this isn't blocked, so I can show you on here, where you've got, and it was the slip stitch pattern. The zigzag pattern was a form of slip stitching. You can, I don't know if you can see, but where I've got a rib there, and I've got a slip stitch panel there, it does pull it up at the bottom, so it makes the cowl seem to go like narrower and wider. And of course I don't want that, but I will sort that out with blocking. It also seems quite fluted as well. I tried several different cast off methods, but it is fluted, and I think that's partly the weight. But this is about 85 grams worth of knitting. And what I did, I've got a panel of rib, so all I did for the Sketch It cowl is I used the stitch count. So I can't really call it the Sketch It cowl. So I did a panel of 2x2 rib, and then I did a slip stitch pattern where I slipped the knit stitch, and I had 3 pearls in between each knit stitch, and then every third row I'd pick up the slip stitch. So I wanted something I could see. You know how useless I am at picking things up. And then there was another panel of rib, and then I did just a simple lace pattern, you know, knit 2 together, yarn over, or yarn over, knit 2 together through the back loop, and I did it as deep as I wanted. I haven't tried it on, it needs blocking, but it's going to be lovely. And because I wear my co-pilot cowl in that lovely green from Attic Spin Dye, I wear it in the house a lot. I thought I'd make another one, but it's not part of my 12 cast-ons. But I was intent on getting this finished because it was quite simple, and while I remembered what the stitch patterns were, I thought I'd get on with it, and then I can leave it to one side, or I can wear it. But I am going to wait to block it, because it is fluting quite a bit. And then at the bottom and the top I've just got 4 sets of garter lumps, so 8 rows. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. The wool, the yarn, is very pretty. It's called Flaming Heart, and it's by Leona of Rusty Ferret. Now, Leona is still dying, but she doesn't. I don't know whether she does repetitive colours. This was part of a mystery box that I had off her a few years ago, which I wasn't that impressed with really. In terms of content, I loved the colours that she did, and the wool, the yarn inside was beautiful. But I thought for the money back then, I wasn't over impressed with, and I've had a number of mystery boxes, and I bought a lot more yarn off her after that. You know, it wasn't anything to do with her, just that particular box. And it was like 4 in a year, so I'd signed up for all 4. But yeah, I've been a bit disappointed in mystery boxes, and I've been a bit cautious about signing up for them. But I've had some really good successes with some as well. You take a risk, don't you? Mystery. The names, the clues in the name. Yeah, I was going to apologise for my jumper. I've got to slow down. Take a deep breath and talk slower. My jumper is the same one I had on in the previous podcast. And that was, I recorded that 3 weeks ago tomorrow. And I've been wearing it probably most days. And it does account for the fact it's pilling quite badly. But it's huge. And I was thinking, I said to Tom, I don't know whether I should unpick it and re-knit it because it's so big, but it's very warm. And I don't know whether it's stretching out more because it's garter stitch as opposed to my stocking stitch. Maybe I knitted a bigger size, I don't know. I knitted one of the bigger sizes, I know that. If only I'd make a note. So yes, apologies for that. I'll bung it in the wash sometime soon. I spilled a couple of things down it, but nothing, you know, a bit of ready break and nothing you can see, hopefully. Oh dear. And the other thing I've been doing the same Flaming Heart that I've just shown you. I've been carrying on with my little crochet squares, and I'm keeping those in this lovely bag that Jane made me from Mouse Knits, and this is part of an advent swap we did probably 3 years ago now, isn't it, Jane? And I'm adding to this, I'm doing 2 different types of square because I thought initially I'd do the pastels only, so I'd class that as a pastel. But some of the wool in here, although it might be, you know, pale, it's actually commercial sock yarn, so it's not as soft as the merino to touch. So I'm just going to carry on and make 7 or 8 if I can, squares, maximum 7 I think, squares out of whatever I can find in here, and then I'll hopefully have enough to make maybe 2 blankets. That's a good example of using some opal or regia. What I've realised now is I could have done tiny mitered squares if I'd taken the care. I mean, I'm enjoying doing these at night, don't get me wrong. And the good thing is I can do a few and then I come in here and sew the ends in next morning and put them in the bag. But the mitered square blanket would look very nice, but because you join as you go with that, then I would have had to get all the wool together or a chunk of it together to make, you know, a decent part of the blanket, and then I still would have wanted to make a darker one or a merino BFL one stroke other fibre. So do you know what I mean? So I'm glad really I've got the crochet squares. How I'm going to join them, I don't know, whether I'm going to get a contrast colour or anything, but I just like it, it's portable. And at night when I don't want to knit round and round and round on my top, I'm going to show you now, the Soundwaves, then it's nice just to sit and do a couple of squares. I found that crocheting makes my shoulder hurt quite quickly. I'm looking forward to the spring. I will get a lot better once the spring comes, but this winter's very annoying. And then the only thing I've knitted on out of my trial cast-ons is my Soundwave. Let me turn it in the right way out for you. I don't know whether I've got the front or the back, so that looks like it's the back. There we go, that'll do. I can see the sleeves then, the opening for the sleeves. So this is my Soundwave. Lady's name, I think it's Faye Kennington, and it's got very subtle colour work on it because that's what I chose to do. And I am now probably 4 to 5 inches past the sleeve, the armhole, so I've still got a way to go. I've just wound up another ball of the merino, undyed merino silk and yak wool, which is lovely to work with. Again, you do get tiny little pills of it, like I do on my cardigan, the Blue Moment cardigan. But yes, I'm pleased with this. I will crack on with this, and I want to get it finished. It'd be nice to get it finished by the end of the month, or it could be something, if I made it, got it finished for Wonderwool, I could wear it as a layer, with something else on top, because I might have a few grey clothes or things that would tone with this. So yeah, so the cowl's grey and this is grey. I'm sorry, Ginny. I say sorry to Ginny all the time because she's not that keen on grey. She's coming round to it, seeing the advantage of it as a neutral, I think. Although I don't want to put words in her mouth. Yeah, so that's progressing. I've been tired at night, and some of it is because my jugs have a soporific effect on me. Incoming. Mom, go and make a cup of tea, leave it running, and you don't have to suffer. Just go and make a cup of tea now, Mom. You don't need to know what I've bought. I may have ordered, which means I've ordered, some DK merino. I was going to buy some dual spun Aran, which is acrylic, and a lot cheaper than buying DK merino. And Hobbycraft hadn't got what I wanted for me to go look at the colours, etc. And I was trying to find one of 2 colours to buy online to do my Turkish Tunisian crochet. And I thought, well, if I don't like the Tunisian crochet, I don't have to spend a lot of money on the wool if I'm not going to, or the acrylic as it may be, if I'm not keen on it and I end up having to undo it, you see. And then, I don't know how or why, but the Discrete Unicorn popped up on my Instagram feed because I've stopped following a lot of what were my favourite sellers from years ago in the effort to try and do a no buy, no yarn or fabric. Oh. So I'm failing miserably at, but I am slightly better than previous years. Anyway, so the Discrete Unicorn popped up and she does a lot of strong brights and pastels and things. And she did its floral rainbow collection of 6 skeins, and I worked it out and it was very good value for money. So I ordered it, and I think she's on holiday at the moment. She's going to come back. She's in Scandinavia somewhere. Going to come back and do the dyeing, and then I'm going to use it for well, I'm not going to use it for the Tunisian crochet, I don't think. I shall decide as and when I get it and see what the colours look like in real life. But then I remembered that I've got a whole year's worth of Vicky Brown's ombre minis, and I had 20 grams for 13 months, 5 each, like so 100 grams. So I've got 1300 grams of 400 metres of 4-ply, and I thought I could hold them together, you know, similar colours together, and that would make them melange in one into another, and I could use that for my Tunisian crochet, and then I wouldn't have to buy any more warp, because although I was not twitchy at all buying the DK, I was a bit twitchy about buying the jewel spun, which is stupid because it's probably less than half the price. But isn't acrylic expensive compared to what it used to be? The jewel spun is about £11 or £12 in some places. You can shop around and get it a bit cheaper. But I'm like, when since acrylic got so pricey? And I think it's just the popularity, supply and demand, you know. If more people are using it, then they can put the prices up, can't they? And that's my cynical side coming out. You do get more cynical as you get older, believe you me. So yes, I'm going to use I don't have any photographs to show you of the ombre minis, and that will come soon, because I shall want to start it, the Tunisian crochet, and then I'll park my little crochet squares. I've only got a couple of balls left out of what I put together for it initially, so once I've finished those, I'll park that project for a couple of months and I'll start the Tunisian crochet. And then when I finish the Soundwave, I'm going to get onto either the Playdate cardigan or a shawl. But you know, I've been doing some sewing, so I'm going to go and get my shirt. Hello again. This is my Gilbert shirt from Helen's Closet. It's been made in, I think it's cotton and steel or Riley Blake quilting cotton, but it was fairly cheap in John Lewis, and the colour's nice. And I'd probably, as getting back into sewing, I made a few items back in my late teens, early 20s, but getting back into sewing, I think they're slightly heavier than something like Tana lawn or you know, cotton lawn it'd be easier for me to sew. This is in desperate need of a press, right? As you can see around the collar, I've stretched it a bit, I think, and I'm wondering, I'll ask Mom whether it's a good idea to wash it and then press it to make the cotton go back into its original shape. But it just needs the buttons and the buttonholes now. Now Mom showed me a couple of 4 buttons yesterday. I probably need 6 to 7 on this length, but it's been a bit of a devil to sew, not because the pattern is hard at all, it's just the sheer volume of it. I mean, it has reminded me how wide I am. So it's got short sleeves, and I haven't took out the tacking, so I'll show you that one. It's got, well, like a mid-length sleeve, and I've just done 2 I've folded it again, and then folded it wide out about 1.5 inches, and I've done 2 rows of stitching on that to finish that off. But there's a lot wrong with this, and I am not going to go undo it. I've finished all the seams, I've zigzagged all the seams, I've done the finishing, I've done possibly okay, because I've, you know, tied the ends in most of the time, unless I'm sewing over it again in a different direction. I've tied my ends in, I've poked them into the seam allowance, and etc where I can. I'm getting better at sewing straight. The colours in here are quite nice, a pale blue with this pattern on, which repeats. It's not a tiny repeat, as you can see, and the colours in it will go very well with the Playdate cardigan when I finish that, which is yellow and a darker blue. This has got a back yoke, and it's got a back pleat there, which I just did by eye with some pins, so it's not joined like you would normally do a box pleat, but it's equidistant from the side, and inside each, you know, the pleat works. I'm finding all these bits now. It's an open V-neck, so eventually when it's pressed and it looks nice, it will have a yeah, the facing's been stitched down as per the pattern. I've done all the top stitching. I just need to get the buttons, and I've got a buttonhole maker that's fairly good on my machine. So I've zigzagged all the inside seams that are still exposed, and the pattern uses the burrito method to pull everything through to the right side when you've attached your yoke, etc., and you're putting everything onto the shoulders. So it's taken me several days to make this because I only did a little bit at a time. I can't show you any photographs because until I can button it up, it's not taking. I've put it on one of my widest coat hangers and it's still not sitting right. So once I've got the buttons on, I'll do it, take some photographs of it lying on the bed buttoned up, and also I should wear it. And I think it's come at the right time of year. Now Mum says I need to make another one straight away, and I agree with her. Although I'm slightly tempted to use a different pattern. I think it's the sewing bit that's important, not the pattern. Yeah. I may have stretched it a little bit too much in some places, but we'll see. I am not sewing any of it again. Do you like my earrings? They're from Temu, that place I said I wouldn't buy from. That's a honey pot with a spoon, and that's a bee on a leaf. I'll put a photograph in because my hair is really tatty. Can't reach my own head. Well, I can just about. So let's see, what else do I need to talk to you about? What else would you want to hear about from me? Yeah, one other thing I forgot to tell you that I bought. Excuse the crinkling, but I don't want to take it out because there's a load of pegs in here. You'll see what I mean. I hope it shows up with the lights. But I bought a loom from Temu. So this is, I don't know, 15 inches short. And I've looked online on YouTube. There's all the pegs in it, look. And the hook. And I'm going to have to go at loom knitting. So that's another Craft More in 24. It's so cheap that I thought I'm going to have a go at buying it. I think Temu is very good for buying things if you don't expect to. You wouldn't buy a loom from Temu if you were going to do a load of hats, for instance, that you wanted to give away or sell. But for trying things out, I think it's super, because I'm sure that probably cost very, very little money. 4 or 5 quid, I'm not sure. I'll check if I can. And yeah, got the earrings from there. I started looking at there. It just popped up in my feed, asymmetric earrings, and they've got some fantastic things. You know, when they're linked, but you've got one thing in one ear and one thing in another, but they're linked by a theme. Absolutely super. If you're looking for a present for kids that don't mind wearing, girls that don't mind wearing quirky things in their ears, ideal. Let's have a look. Well, I have been watching some quilting podcasts because it's one of the things I want to get into next. Apart from the loom and the Tunisian crochet. Oh, just got a great tit on my feeder. Oh, it doesn't come very often. I do, followed by the blue tits. The robins have paired up, and the male robin, I presume it's the male, is feeding the female now, and I think they were nesting just down the garden. Last year they nested in our box, but that might be when it's a bit warmer. So yeah, what was I going to say? I have been watching some quilting things because Penny, hello Penny, of Penelope's Chinwag. Oh, and I started watching you the other day, Penny, and I need to go and finish your latest episode. I'll go ahead like a sieve. Now, she was showing beautiful blocks that she's made, Quilt As You Go, and I was also watch Emma of Vintage Sewing Box, and she attracted me to, drew me in a bit, and I bought some nice fabric for that sort of thing a little while ago, and I would have shown you, but when I get it out again I'll show you again. Bought some very wide stuff, from Etsy that was quite nice. Not top quality, but you know, nice. And I don't know why I say not top quality. I don't know. Perhaps I need to wash it and then see what it feels like, you know. Anyway, so started watching. Emma was doing it, and then Penny did it, and then I found Stitch with Rachel on YouTube, on Instagram, and then went to her YouTube channel, watched all her stuff about quilting, and she's fairly local to me. I get the impression she's sort of northeast Birmingham, somewhere like Tamworth or something. She's doing a quilt as you go temperature quilt this year, and that's interesting. And her sister, although you didn't see her face, put a quick episode up the other day of how she joins her individual what they call block. The idea is quilt as you go. If you don't know, and I know a lot of you have quilted or do quilt, you get the wadding, you put the front on, you make the back bigger than the front so you can fold it over and fold it over again, and you stitch that on so it's all sealed in a nice package, and your quilt block is done, and you make lots and lots and lots and join them together. And now I'm in an R-ing about how I'd like something for the bed. I've got a cotton crochet blanket for the bed, but I found out last couple of weeks I've wanted my square blanket on the bed as well, but I find it a bit heavy to lift, and also it gets bundled up with the crochet one with our duvet, which is only 4.5 tog. So the duvet on a cold night isn't really warm enough, and when I throw them off me to get out of bed, like you have to when you're a certain age, in the middle of the night, I'm battling with the bulk of the blanket. So I thought, well, if I did a quilted one, you've got the air trapped in another quilt, and it doesn't have to be very heavy. So I was thinking, well, I could do a quilt as you go, just for the top of the bed, you know, it doesn't hang down or anything, but then I could, I might not battle with it as because my mitered square blanket is quite heavy, even though it's not very big. And I thought, well, how would you join it together? Because you'd want all these individual blocks joined together quite nicely. And the lady, Rachel's sister, I can't remember her name, she showed you that she does a very tight zigzag, whatever the zigzag is on her machine. And she's got a brother as well, weirdly. The first zigzag, she doesn't lengthen it or widen it. She just uses that and puts them together and goes through. And I thought, well, that's good. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice, though, to have something prettier, as in a crochet join. And I thought, yeah, I've seen things like that before. And then really coincidentally, Zoe Mason, who I bought some hexagon pre-cuts from the other week, she showed, is it Zoe or was it the Maker's Stash? Showed a series of projects the other day, whips, and got them out. And one of the first ones she got out was the Tilda Crochet Fusion Quilt. And that was blocks with crochet edging, and you join the crochet together. And it looked really very, very pretty. Maybe a bit pretty for me, but it appeals to me. So I might do a little cushion or trial of something. I don't like making things unless I've got a practical application for them, if you know what I mean. So, but yes, I'll leave links to what I'm talking about down below. So I want to start quilting fairly soon, and I can see myself sat outside, not today because everything could fly away because it's quite windy and it's cold, but sat outside, you know, basting and putting everything together, and then getting fed up with that after half an hour, picking up my knitting, because I need to vary what I do, because if I don't, I get stuck in one position. If I do a couple of rounds on that Soundwave, and I need to change the video on my tablet, my arm won't work. I can't reach the screen, even though it's just there. once I get my arm moving, it's not too bad. So annoying. I need I have got a pointy thing. Maybe I can get a longer one. But then if I do that, I'm going to lose more movement, aren't I? I need to keep using my arms. I know them to be next to me forever. Right. So I've shown you the loom knitting, and the last thing I want to show you is the other bag that I made. I wrote to Jan wrote to me and I said, what colours don't you like for me to make you a bag? And she said she's not so keen on pastels, I prefer brights. Now my mum had given me some bright cotton, and I made that, which is nice. It's got the same dotty lining inside. It's quite sizable. I'd say it was like 12 inches square almost, not far off. It's got my label on it. It's not too wonky. And I was lying in bed thinking, well, that's pastel colours. So I made Jan another one, and I've sent that off to her. She's received it. So I'm wondering, and then I thought, this reminds me of mini eggs, Cadbury's mini eggs. So I'd like to know, and it doesn't matter if nobody wants it, would anybody like to buy this off me? And I will put in a packet of mini eggs inside. And I'm going to ask for, it'll be UK only, I think. UK only, so that's £3 for postage, without the packing bit. I'm not bothered about that because I've already got the bags. So, £15, and some of that I will make a note of and donate to the Stroke Association. And I think I might make the odd bag for sale if people are interested. You know, it's not going to be a business for me at all. And I'm not trying to tread on anybody's toes by making things cheaper. It's just that I like buying, as you've noticed. And I don't always get around to using things very quickly. And I am sinking underneath the weight of all this beautiful material I've got. So, most of which is Lewis and Irene or Tilda. So, anyway, so if anybody's interested in the mini egg bag, the first one to get in touch with me that I see, so either on Instagram or YouTube or email, whichever one I see first, and it's about 2 o'clock I think now on Thursday. I'm hoping to get this up Thursday night, and then after that you'll see it from Friday morning onwards. I will check my comments regularly, but you know, if nobody wants it, I'm not going to be offended. It will go towards another make along in the future. It won't be the jump along now. I'll make a different one for that because I like to give people a surprise or a shock. So yes, drawstring, sizable bag, £15 to include postage, and it includes a packet of mini eggs. Or if you prefer, well no, we'll say mini eggs because say Malteser bunny, I mean it's a clash with the colours and I don't like clashy things. Activity, and then I'm going to go, okay? So hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't fall over again. What did I do? Well, probably a week after I saw you, I've been staying in a lot. It's been wet, it's been cold, and it's been dark, and I've been aching a lot, like I told you. But I was going back to the doctors. I saw her Monday of this week on the 11th of March. But about 10 days earlier on the Friday, I picked my friend up, Denise, and we went into Worcester. And we went straight back to All Bar One, where we'd been before Christmas, and I had exactly the same thing to eat. I had a chicken quesadilla, which is nice, and I didn't actually drop any down me, I don't think, because it gets quite runny inside. Got chickpeas with it, and chicken and a sauce, and then you get seasoned fries, skin on fries, which are nice. I just left a couple of those, couldn't quite eat them all, but the thing I was really looking forward to having was the apricot sour cocktail, and Denise had one too, and we both loved them. Last time I think she had an Aperol spritz or a different cocktail, but it came served on a lovely gold cocktail stick with 2 ready-to-eat apricots on, and they were delicious. Let's get back to the apricot sour. Basically lemon juice, apricot syrup, which I need to buy some of, and amaretto di Serrano. So it's called an apricot and almond sour, and it's gorgeous. So we went there, we had a walk around town. Where else did we go? We went and had a coffee in Marks and Spencer's. I need to tell you about the cake. Sorry, the thingy's there again. I don't move very much because the camera will fall over. I don't even know whether I'm in shot. It might just be the top of my head that you can see. Go, don't look at me in the face like that, you cheeky devil. Go on, off. I'll try and ignore him. We went to Marks and Spencer's. We didn't have a pudding in all bar one. We had a look round, not very much, a couple of things I needed to get, and then we went into M&S quite late in the day, and we had a cake. Now, they had a nice looking chocolate cake, and I love anything chocolate usually, and I couldn't decide what else to have, and they'd run out of some of their stuff. I would have had a hot cross bun, but the hot cross bun tray was empty, and it was about 4 o'clock. They weren't going to fill it up again. So I said, I'll have the same as you, and he said, I'm having that chocolate cake. And it was lovely. It was Cadbury's Flake do a similar one, I think, where the layers are vertical with a little bit of buttercream in the middle instead of horizontal. So you've got lots of little bits of sponge and a little bit of buttercream going round the cake. If you cut it, because normally it's pre-cut, isn't it? And I said, I'll have the same as you. Well, she put them on the tray, and I went, hold on a minute. I said, whose slice is whose? I was only playing her up. I didn't want the bigger slice. Hers was twice as big as mine. And she'd accidentally, right, cut 2 slices for herself. And I wouldn't mind, but she got more topping as well. So she gave me some of her topping when I pulled faces at her when we were sat down. Yeah, but they didn't notice that they didn't charge her twice for a double slice. So mine was about right, you know, it's about inch and a half across the back. And hers was like, and you know, she ate it. She ate all that double portion before I finished my single portion. Anyway, so got to pick on her now for eating double cake. Then I don't think I've been anywhere otherwise. Let's see if that pigeon will go. Gone now. He'll be back in a minute. Oh, he's gone because Tom went outside. Mum's birthday last Saturday, and we went up there. There's me and Tom, my sister-in-law and sister, and then my brother, and my another sister-in-law. I've got 3, and my nephew Alec, because Scott's in somewhere out far east. I can't keep up with what country he's in. So yes, and we had nice nibbles and things and cake, and it was very nice. Tom took a loaf this time rather than a cake. Yeah, it was nice. So Mum has celebrated another birthday. Well done, my mother. And then of course the following day was Mother's Day. So yeah, I said to her I'll buy her something when we're out, rather than, you know, just buy her things. She had plenty of flowers and stuff, and she said she didn't want any chocolate, so she didn't get any chocolate. That's the way it works, isn't it? If I say no chocolate, I don't mean it ever. Ever. Unless it's dark or white. Then Monday I went to see my lovely GP, and she immediately said, we'll double up the slow release tablets that you're on. I'll give you more of the quick release, so for you to take as and when you need them, because I kept a record, and I think I asked her how many she wanted me to take in a day, what we should be aiming towards, but she didn't answer that question. I think something happened and she had to go off and she had to do something on the computer because she had an urgent request come through on her screen, and I forgot to ask her again. But I'm feeling a lot better for taking double drugs, and if I take quadruple drugs, then that feels very, very nice and woozy. So it's the sort of thing I need to avoid and only take when needed. But I'm happier because I do feel now that my drugs are under control. My pain is more under control than it was. So then we went round, got back from Boots. I nipped back to Boots to get my prescription while Tom was paying in Morrison, because we went round Morrison's together, and went to get back in the car. Now I use a little step that my dad made, and Tom's made me one as well because I left it at Webb's, didn't we? And it's got it on the table at the moment. It's probably about 6 to 7 inches high. And what I do is I step onto that, and it gives me the height to get into the car. Now, I got my coat on unusually. Well, I've been outside, but I decided stupidly not to take my coat off to get in the car. That was the first mistake. And then I didn't check where Tom had put the step, because I know some people were like, oh, I'm not putting it in the right place. I always fiddle with it so it's in exactly the right place for me, because I've got such short legs that I can't afford to be 2 or 3 inches out. So I didn't check where Tom had put it. Not his fault, my fault. It's my responsibility. And I couldn't get in the car. And the top of my boots, my feet, they catch, I know it sounds daft, they catch on the trim. You know, the plastic trim on the bottom of your door. And I can't move my leg off that trim. So I got stuck, and I didn't have my bum on the seat or anywhere near. So I was lying there, and I had nowhere to go. I was just like rammed in. I was just so fat. And I was like, I wasn't panicking, but at one point I tried to move, and I slipped further out the car. And Tom was like, I don't know what to do. I mean, he didn't want to touch me for fear of hurting me. And this lady came up and she said, do you want some help? And Tom said, no, I think we're all right, thank you. Because, you know, you don't want somebody pushing on you. But she came round to Tom and she said, I am a physio and I am used to doing handling and transfers. She said, I wasn't just, you know, being a not nosy, but trying to be helpful. So in the end, I said to Tom, you're going to have to push me up the bum. So he did, and I got in the car. But that hurt me. It wasn't him hurting me. It was, I'd sprained my wrist a little bit, and I'd hurt my shoulders. And I was a bit annoyed, stroke upset. More annoyed, because I find that's a healthier attitude than being upset. That I'd got myself into such a pickle. So now I'm trying to eat less. I am eating less. Not trying to. I am eating less. And I've got to lose some weight. And I will never, ever, ever wear my coat in the car again. I got into the car with it on here, but this wheelchair I'm in tilts backwards, so I'm higher for a start. We could spend endless money supporting me with various aids and things, but I don't know whether it help. I need to see if there's somewhere where I can go and trial things. Get there in the end. Anyway, enough about me nearly falling out the car, because I did nearly fall out the car. I'm feeling a lot better now. Came home and immediately took 2 quick release drugs, because I knew I was going to go into, my body was going to go into meltdown. So yeah, I can look after myself. Good job he's strong, isn't it? Anyway, I shall love you and leave you. I will see you again in a fortnight's time. Now the sewing's finished and I'm feeling a lot better in myself, I will stick to my schedule. You know where to contact me. It's all down below. Please get in touch. Enter the jump along if you've got anything to enter. I've had some email entries. I always check the Instagram entries as well. But you've got until the 31st. Okay? And if anybody's interested in the mini egg bag, again, contact me and I will be in touch. I'm happy to make anybody a bag. So, you know, if anybody wants a bag, they know sort of colours they like. I don't go for brights normally, but I've got a few. Then get in touch, because I need to make some space. Right, I'm going. I know there's things I should have mentioned that I haven't, but you know, I'll quit while I'm ahead. Thank you for watching so much. You know, it's appreciated and I enjoy doing it. I'm now going to go and do the editing, where I sit and realise how much waffling I've done. Thanks for putting up with me, and I will see you very soon. Bye.